you didn't just start calisthenics to build an anime level physique. You also wanted to learn some cool ass moves to train like an anime character, impress your crush, or the guys in your Valorant 5 stack. The problem with all these calisthenics moves like the Baki pose, Goku's handstand push-ups, or whatever Inosuke is doing here, have a way too high of a skill ceiling, requiring a lot of strength and balance. But luckily for you guys, I've assembled a list of 5 calisthenics skills that are not only impressive to do, but they're also easy to master. Not only will I show you guys these impressive skills, but I'm also going to show you why you should do them, how you can start training for them, and how you can master them. Now, I consider these skills relatively easy because they have a really low barrier to entry and they're not hard to master. In gaming terms, low skill floor, low skill ceiling. They don't take a lot of strength or balance to start training, and they don't take a long time to get the hang of them. At the same time, these skills that I'm about to list are still impressive in their own right, and most average people won't be able to do them. So even though these skills will probably take 2 weeks or less to get the hang of, most people you show these skills to will still be like, oh wow, you're so amazing, oh you're so hot, have my babies. I was very popular in high school, as you can see. Getting right into it, the first skill on this list is going to be the floor L-sit. The L-sit is already a fundamental calisthenics exercise and a gateway to all calisthenics skills. It combines compressive ab strength and some degree of hamstring flexibility as well, and is also really good for developing bulletproof ab muscles. And it makes you feel like a yoga guru monk training on the top of a mountain. Of course, the most impressive L-sit will be on the floor, but you're probably going to start training the hanging L-sit first. The move is simple. Engage your scapula so they're back and down. Make sure you hollow out your core by engaging your abs. Then lift up your legs at a 90-degree angle and hold it. If you find this too hard or your hamstrings aren't flexible enough, you can start by bending your legs, and as you get stronger, bend only one leg at a time. Once you develop some good strength, you're ready to tackle the floor L-sit. Now this can start to get tricky, but there are a couple things that you can do to train for it and make it a lot easier. For one, you can get something like some books or some parallettes to elevate your hands so that you've got a little more room to play with and you don't have to push up as high. Since this move requires a little more compression strength than the hanging L-sit, it's worth it to just practice on the floor with your feet resting on the floor as well, trying to squeeze as hard as you can with your abs. But one of the hardest parts of this move is going to be actually pushing your body off of the ground, so practicing something like scapular dips will help you train those muscles and help you to master that movement. Pro tip, if you want to make this easier and also look a lot more impressive, do the L-sit on the floor with your fists. It gives you slightly more room, kind of like if you're using parallettes, and it also looks more badass because your entire weight is being supported by your fists. Next on the list is going to be the headstand, and it looks intimidating, but it's a lot easier than it looks, and it's a lot of fun to do. And it's especially awesome because you actually get to feel like you're training like an anime character because your whole body is upside down. And it's not as hard as a handstand because you have 3 points of contact using your head instead of the handstand which just uses 2. But the amount of balance that you need to do this skill is still important to start training. To start, have something to cushion your head. You don't want to hurt yourself here. If you're scared of falling, feel free to use the wall as a spotter. First, place your head on the ground with your arms at about 90 degrees, and you want to try to have your hips between your hands and your head as much as possible. A big mistake that I made when trying to learn this thing is lifting your legs straight up off of the ground. You don't want to do that. Instead, drag your knees closer to your chest until you start to feel them lift off of the ground. Then slowly extend your legs and your body by engaging your glutes and engaging your core. And if you're afraid to commit to the move, don't worry, I got you. Hell yeah. First, practice that beginning movement where you move your legs closer to your chest. This is going to help you get used to that movement. Next, as you bring your legs closer to your As you bring your legs closer to your chest, try lifting them off of the floor just ever so slightly. And you can start to hold that position for a little bit, and that's it. As you're getting used to that, you can also start to actually lift your legs and extend your hips off of the ground, but keeping your legs bent so your center of gravity isn't so high and you're not standing as tall. And once you get used to holding that, then you can extend your legs and stand proudly in your headstand. Congratulations. But of course, this move still requires a little bit of shoulder strength, so I recommend being able to do 8 to 10 pike push-ups before attempting to try this skill. And while this move doesn't require as much balance to achieve, the next move is going to help you with all of the other hand balancing stuff. And that's the frog stand. This is going to help train your hand and wrist muscles to keep your body balanced and your center of gravity centered. The technique used to keep your balance in the frog stand is the exact same as the technique used in the handstand. If you're about to fall forward, your toes will start pressing into the ground in order to push you back into your center of balance. And if you are pushed backwards, the opposite happens. Your heels are being pushed into the ground, and that brings you forward into your center of balance. This is exactly what we want to do with our hands. With your hands, you want to grab the floor kind of like a claw. I like to think of my hands like tiger claws digging into the ground. Then lean forward and backwards and practice pushing your fingers to bring yourself back and pressing your palms into the ground to bring yourself forward. It takes some time to get used to, but it's a great drill to practice hand balancing. Pro tip, I like to keep most of my weight around this part of my hand so that if I am leaning too far forward or too far back, I have enough wiggle room where I can keep my center of gravity. What the frick? Keep my center of mass in between this area. It's a lot more wiggle room. So do that. And once you get the hang of that, you're ready to try the frog stand. First, try balancing with both feet touching the floor. Then you can transition to bringing one foot off of the floor and doing some toe taps, slowing down your rate of toe tappedness in order to get more into the position. And then as you start to get stronger, your balance starts to get better. You can lift both toes off of the floor, and now you have the perfect frog stand. You might start to get a better feel for hand balancing at this point, so it's perfect now to introduce the fourth skill, the elbow lever. This is a great bent arm skill that combines hand balancing with pushing strength, and it's the foundation for all other skills like the 90-degree hold and the planche. It looks really impressive, but it doesn't require as much strength as you think, since you're supporting most of your body weight onto your elbows. Honestly, this is one of my favorite beginner skills. Every time I'm at a party or in class or just out in public, I always ask unprompted, hey, you want to see my party trick? They don't even have to say anything. I'll just drop down and show them this bad boy. Again, very popular in high school. To do this, start by placing your hands facing you and relatively close together. Then as you start to lean forward, bring your elbows in so that they're meeting your waist. Lean more and more forward until you find the balance and your body is hovering above the ground. When you're first starting, you'll want to try bending your legs so you shift the weight closer to your hands. And then once you get used to that, try straddling your legs to bring the weight a little further from your hands, but still making it easier than the full elbow lever. Now this already looks impressive enough, but we want to take it up a notch and bring our legs together, like bam, like that. While not as hard as other bent arm skills, you'll still want to be able to do at least 20 push-ups before starting this skill. But enough with the bent arm stuff. Let's move on to the straight arm stuff with the skin the cat. I don't know why it's called this. Let me know in the comments if you know why they call it skin the cat. Not only does it help to develop straight arm strength, but also shoulder mobility. The move is simple. You bring yourself up with a tucked front lever raise and then pass through your arms over to the other side and do sort of like a back lever while hanging your legs down. I think this is called the German hang, if I'm not mistaken. And then once you get a good stretch, hyperextending your arms, bring yourself back up, over, and go back to the original position. Now, if you want to practice this without ripping your arms off or turning your shoulders into mashed potatoes, here's a simple trick to start learning this thing. Practice with a shorter range of motion, so not going past that horizontal point. Not only is this going to help you build strength in that position, but it's also going to help you get used to that transition part. It's also going to help you develop the tendons in most straight arm skills, specifically the front lever, which, if you're looking to learn the front lever, you can check out this video right here.